this is a tour that I really love very much. Okay, so we set up this itinerary because I think you're gonna get the best of Tuscany, really. Okay, because we're gonna go deep inside the heart of Italy. Okay, and also through this presentation, I hope that you can get the real point, the real core of the trip. So inside the heart of Italy. So the title of the tour that you put, Jim, is perfect. The best of Tuscany, Rome, and Florence. Okay, we can pass to the first slide. Okay, here you have just a summary of the tour. So 11 days, of course, and with the list of the cities where we're gonna stay. So where our hotels are located. So there will be Monte Catini Terme. It's a nice village in the north of Tuscany. Then, of course, Florence. San Quirico d'Orcia, probably nobody of you know this little village, but it's amazing. We're gonna go deep inside this village later on. And then, of course, Rome, which is the capital. The main sites are just listed here as an example because we're gonna see also other little villages, but of course, Florence, Siena, and all that you can read here are the main, let's say, the highlights of the tour. You can read this strange name for many people, which is the Civita di Bagnoregio. So this is the right pronunciation. Civita di Bagnoregio is an incredible little town where only 14 people live. So that's amazing. So as you can see, Rome. So we're gonna visit both the main highlights of Italy, but also the small little villages, so off the beaten path. Then, of course, activities. We have from cooking class to thermal bath, which is pretty amazing in that part of Tuscany and of Italy. And then the transportation. We're gonna use 2 minivan with English-speaking drivers. Why 2 minivan and not a bus? Because our tours are really tours that try to be as much as comfortable for the travelers. So a minivan can really go everywhere in the cities, while a minibus cannot enter the Italian cities right into the center. No, they have to stop out of the cities, and it's much more uncomfortable, you know, because you have to walk with a minivan in order to arrive to the center of the cities. While with a minivan is considered like a car. So with a car, you can arrive really in front of the monuments, and it's very, very comfortable. That's why we decided to put 2 minivan in this trip, because it's a really very personalized tour, you know. So that's why. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So day one, you arrive in Florence, which is at about an hour, even less than an hour, 45 minutes drive to Monte Catini Terme. So you will not drive very much, so you will be probably tired. You arrive in Monte Catini Terme, and you just rest at the hotel, which is in the center of this little town. Monte Catini Terme is a very famous town, as I said before. Small town, about 20,000 inhabitants, and it's divided in two parts. The new Monte Catini Terme, which I tell you, in Italy, new means 100 years old at least, and old in Italy means everything at least 300 years old. Okay, so the new town is where our hotel is located, and then you have the old Monte Catini Terme, which is up on a hill, which is reachable through a small and very nice cable car that you can see on this slide, the red cable car, which is privately owned, and it dates back to almost 100 years. so it's crazy. Anyway, it's a cable car on land. You see, it's not suspended. You're right there, and you have an incredible view over the town below. So Monte Catini Terme will be the base of our the first part of our tour. Okay, and in Monte Catini Terme you can see many beautiful monuments and buildings dating back to almost 100 years ago. So you have like the one that you see in the picture, old buildings and also churches. It's a beautiful town also to get around, and there are little restaurants, bar. It's very lively little town in summer. So I think that you're gonna enjoy this little town. And our hotel is very comfortable. You have, of course, a pool, and you have a spa, you have a gym, and it's right in the center. All our hotels are in the centers of the towns or the villages we picked up in this tour, because we want the maximum comfort, and so that's why we picked up these hotels. Okay, you will have an afternoon and leisure, and that's it for the day. So we can pass to the next slide. Okay, that's the description that I already told you about the hotel. And it's a big hotel, but with a, even if it's a big hotel, it has a family feeling. All hotels in Montecatini Terme are primarily owned and owned by families. That's very different from US. So in Italy in general, but especially Montecatini Terme, hotels belong to families. So you will meet probably the owner of the hotel, who probably will be at the restaurant serving people, because that's what we do in Italy. So the owner will probably show you his collection of arts and paintings that he has. It's a very known person. Of course, the hotel is very big, has more than 100 rooms. But again, it has a family feeling, so you will not feel like you are in a Hilton, huge Hilton, or Marriott, with all the respect for those chains that I like. But this is another story. This is a typical Italian hotel. Okay, let's go to the other slide. Okay, we have on day 2 we start with a cooking class in Lucca. So the cooking class, we have a picture, a couple of pictures of the cooking class. Anyway, is held in of course family-run winery. So the people there, they produce their own wine, it's on their own extra virgin olive oil, and they set up a place where they provide a cooking class. Very nice. I personally attended many of them. There will be a lady, an Italian mama, cooking for you, and you will actually do the same as he does. So she will teach you the Tuscan recipes and bruschetta, pasta, meat. So it will be very interesting. It will last about 2 hours. Okay. Then after that, you will have you will eat what you cooked actually. So be careful what you do, because anyway you have to eat a pizza. But again, it's very good. I mean, you will make a beautiful pasta and meat. The sauce, and it will be really very nice. It's a friendly cooking class. It's not something something serious. It's a nice, friendly cooking class. And then you will have also a variety of wine that you will taste, actually 6 local wines, so white, red, and rosé, who will be put on the table in a nice setting, and you will try the Tuscan wine, which is absolutely amazing. During the tour, we will try different kind of wines. In this part of Tuscany, you will have a local wine, and precisely of Monte Carlo di Lucca, which is a nice little village. So you will enjoy this wine, and then after that, in the afternoon, we will go to Lucca. Lucca, probably you have heard about Lucca because it's a pretty famous town. It's a Roman town, which means that has been built by Romans. So we're talking about 2,000 years ago town, of course. Lucca has about 70,000 inhabitants. It's pretty small, full of shops and flat. So it's very handy to walk around. There is probably one of the most beautiful squares in all Italy. Is you can see on a little bit on this picture on the left hand side of the slide, this square, but this square should be seen really from high, or when we enter the square, you have an incredible look at the square. It's probably one of the most beautiful squares in Italy because it's an amphitheater. So it's exactly a rounded square, because once upon a time, at the time of Romans, there was an amphitheater, and then today you have buildings and you have houses at the same place where there was a Roman amphitheater. And in fact, you see from the height on the right hand side of the picture on the slide, you see this square. Anyway, there are churches, there are beautiful squares and buildings and shops. So it would be a nice walk. There would be a nice walk in Lucca, and you will enjoy Lucca very much. It's one of the most pleasant towns in Tuscany. Okay, we can pass to the third slide. Okay, Cinque Terre and Pisa. Well, I think everybody has heard about Cinque Terre, probably. Cinque Terre, simply said, is one of the most extraordinary places in the world. Okay, Cinque Terre is amazing. It's something which is not real. It looks like we are in Hollywood. Okay, but when you go there, you will see that it's absolutely real. So Cinque Terre, we call Cinque Terre a stretch of land in the west part of Tuscany, which include actually five little villages very close each other. These villages, we're going to visit three of them: Monterosso, Vernazza, and Rio Maggiore. It looks like really they're made like in a movie. Those villages are perched on hills, actually, between actually the hill behind and the sea. So there is no room between the sea and the mountain, the hills. Just a little stretch of land and a hill where those houses are located, which is incredible, really incredible. And we will walk through those little villages, which are painted in different colors. If you see, there are red, very bright colors. Why there are so bright colors, so many bright colors? Because long time ago, hundreds of years ago, when the people went fishing and they left their wives at home, their wives at home, they could spot with these bright colors their house from far when they are at the sea, and they could go back to land safely, so that's why they're built the house in so bright colors, so just to get spotted by the people who are fishing at the sea, talking about 100 years ago. Actually, those little villages are now visited by really hundreds of thousands of people. But once upon a time, long time ago, they were inhabited by just a few families. Why those people settled there? Because they were well defended, and they could escape the attacks of enemies from the sea, because really reach those people was really very hard for the enemies. And there you can just enjoy the views of the sea and the spectacular little alleys, and also drink one incredible wine, which is probably one of the few wines in the world which is salted. Why? Because the vines that you see on, you can find on the hills, where they produce the wine, is full of salt, because the sea is really very close. So when there is a strong wind, the strong wind hit the vines, and it gives this kind of salty taste, which make this wine almost unique in the world, and it's also very expensive. The name of this wine is Shaketra, but when you go there, probably you're gonna taste, and I hope you will do, because it's amazing. Anyway, let's go forward and see it. Of course, we're gonna of course we're gonna stop also in Pisa. Sorry, I forgot the day before. And Pisa, yeah, thank you. Pisa, of course, is famous all around the world. You will see this square, where there is the Leaning Tower, which is probably, again, one of the most incredible squares in the world. The Leaning Tower is almost 800 years old, and there is not only the Leaning Tower in the square, but there is a cathedral, the monumental cemetery, the baptistry. It's a huge amount of arts, and you will be amazed to visit this square, which is probably one of the most famous. But again, you will be amazed to see how the tower is leaning. It's leaning tremendously, and you have to imagine that this tower, the Leaning Tower, has been put a little bit back straight a long time ago. Working, some engineers worked very, very hard, and with the special steel ropes, they managed to a little bit put it a little bit more straight than it's now. So the tower that you will see is the tower that the travelers used to see 150 years ago. That's is the situation at the moment. Okay. Anyway, you will be amazed by this square. Absolutely, no way. Okay, let's go to the day 4. Florence. I mean, we can talk a month of Florence, about Florence. Anyway, in Florence, we will pick the best of the best. So the Academy Gallery, where you will see the Michelangelo's David. We will have a skip the line tour, which means no line. And when I say no line, I mean in Italy. I live in Italy and I travel much, but I live in Italy. In Italy, we stay in line for everything, okay? For every. So imagine a huge, an important museum as this one, Academy Gallery. We must have a skip the line ticket with a private guide, and that's what we have. You will see, when you go there, you will see a huge line, because of course many people don't have the skip the line tour, but it's absolutely important that you have, and that's why we will provide much in advance, because reservations are crazy after COVID. So it's incredible to find a spot, but we will have a skip the line tour, skip the line ticket for the Academy Gallery, and you will see not only the David, but many other statues and paintings, and explained by our professional guide, which is a licensed tour guide, only for Florence. You will love it. Of course, we will walk around the town and Ponte Vecchio. We will see Ponte Vecchio and many other buildings and palaces. I mean, Florence is an open-air museum, so you will enjoy that. Okay, then we go to day 5. Wow, pizza and gelato making class. This is another beautiful activity that we want to offer to you because what's Italy without gelato? I mean, gelato is amazing. We will check if you eat at least one gelato per day. That's very important because it's wonderful. It's so good. You know, we have many Italian gelato everywhere, also in the US. But what you're gonna see when I'm gonna taste in Italy, it's unique. So here we have a teacher who will teach you how to make a good gelato and also perfect and tasty Italian pizza, which we Italians we eat very much. Okay, so pizza for us is very important. According to the different parts of Italy, we have different kind of pizza. Okay, we know that pizza was born in Naples, but also the pizza we have in Rome or Milan, it's very, or Florence, it's very, very good. And you will learn how to cook and prepare a traditional Italian pizza. Okay, very good. Then we go forward and we have a brief description of the hotel where we're going to stay in Florence for 2 nights. Again, very centrally located at really less, probably 5 minutes walk from the cathedral, and 1 minute walk actually very close to the main, one of the main square there. And it's kind of a boutique hotel. It's not a big hotel. We prefer to, again, to give you a real taste of Italy. So when it's possible, we try to offer boutique hotels which are full of the Italian feeling that you probably you would like to find in a trip to Italy. Okay, then we go forward. Okay, the Chianti region. This day we are going to travel to the Chianti region, which is an area south of Florence. The trip is very short. We about 45 minutes before we get to Greve in Chianti, which is a tiny, lovely little town where Verrazzano, the famous sailor, was born. So in Greve Chianti, actually in the castle of Verrazzano Castle, the famous Verrazzano sailor was born. Verrazzano is the one who discovered the Bay of New York. So, I mean, it's a very important navigator because he discovered in 1600 in one of his expeditions to the New World, he discovered the east coast of the US actually. So it's very interesting, and in the Chianti area, we're going to have a wine tasting, and also we're going to have a visit of the castle where Verrazzano was born. So it's amazing. It's really amazing that, because it's a castle which dates back to 1,000 years ago, about, and is privately owned, and the owners live in the upper floor, but all the other part of the castle is open to public, so to the public, and so we are going to have a beautiful visit of the wine cellars, and they produce their own wine, and also we are going to see also the view of the Chianti vines that are all around. It would be a very interesting day. It's a half-day trip that it will remain really in your mind. And then we go back to Florence in the afternoon, and you will have some free time in Florence, which it's always very pleasant. Okay, then we go forward. And then in this other day, we go to Siena and San Gimignano, and of course we visit another winery because it's very important to visit different kind of wineries. So Siena is one of the most important tourist destination in Tuscany. Probably after Florence is one of the most visited cities in Tuscany, one of the most visited in Italy. And we will have a walking tour with a guide, a professional guide, of course, and we will visit the cathedral, which I consider again one of the most impressive buildings in the world. There are so many statues, paintings, and incredible things inside the cathedral you cannot imagine. And then we will visit also San Gimignano, which is a very visited, very visited town, also San Gimignano. It's called the Manhattan of the Middle Ages because in San Gimignano, as you can see on the right of the slide, you have some so-called tower houses, the buildings so tall that you see on the slide. These tower houses are considered the skyscrapers of the Middle Ages, you know, and people living in San Gimignano were very rich. So it's a very, again, also now very rich town. It was very rich 500 years ago also because of the saffron. You know, those people just traded saffron, which was considered the oil of nowadays, you know, so they were very rich merchants and traders of saffrons. With all the money that they had, they built an incredible little town full of 72 towers that today just we have just 12 left, but in that at that time there were 72. Anyway, we will go deep inside discover this beautiful little town with its history when we go there. Now, just a few things about San Gimignano, and of course, near San Gimignano, we're gonna visit another winery where we're gonna taste. I mean, incredible wine. We will taste also a Super Tuscan. Super Tuscan wine is a wine where the people who make this wine are free to make the wine that they want. They don't have to follow special rules given by the region, given by the association of wine producer. They can just put together the kind of grape that they want, and they make the so-called Super Tuscan. And the Super Tuscan is the most expensive and most renowned wine that you can find in Tuscany. Of course, you can also buy, when we visit the wineries, you can buy wine, extra virgin olive oil. Those wineries, they ship door to door to your country, to your place where you live. So it's also interesting if you wanna, if you find a wine that you like, you can buy the one that you want. Not all wineries do that, but the wineries that we visit, they ship door to door the wine that you taste. So that's very important too. Okay, after that we go south to San Quirico d'Orcia, and where we're gonna stay 3 nights. San Quirico d'Orcia is a little village, but we can go to the next slide, because in that day, exactly in that day, we arrived to San Quirico d'Orcia, and we sat in this incredible hotel, which is more than an hotel. It's a kind of little village, you know, more than an hotel. The hotel, you have some picture here, but actually the picture don't make justice at the incredible feeling that you have when we enter this hotel, which is a boutique hotel, very old. Within the wall, the city wall of this, within the city wall, so right in the center, it's primarily owned. The owner of the hotel owns almost half of the village, of course, as because Ida is like this. So it's a very wealthy person and very nice person also. And you will probably meet the owner there. And the garden is amazing. You will have a pool, but the pool is not a normal pool. It's a Roman pool. So you will swim. You will go in a pool that was used by Romans. So it's amazing how those people refurbished, and of course they had to get the permission from the region to use and to refurbish a Roman pool. So there is a spa. Rooms are very old style. So it's an amazing place in the middle of San Quirico. Okay, we go to the next slide. Okay, Montepulciano and Pienza Orcia Valley. Orcia Valley is a valley in the south of Florence, which is very well known around the world because it's a protected area. In fact, you see, it's a UNESCO listed region. UNESCO is an international organization which protects monuments and also natural beauties around the world. And Orcia Valley is one of the places that the UNESCO protects. So within the organization, it's Orcia Valley is what you have always dreamed and always thought about Tuscany: rolling hills, scenery, cypress trees, incredible landscapes. So that's Orcia Valley. So that's the heart, the really the Tuscany that you may see in a movie. Okay, so we will say 3 nights in this kind of setting, and we will visit different little villages like Montepulciano, which is well known for its wine. We're gonna visit, of course, also a winery there, and Pienza. Pienza is probably the most famous place in Orcia Valley. It was built by a pope, so you can imagine, in 500 years ago. So beautiful buildings, a nice alley, and very famous for pecorino cheese. In Pienza, you will taste incredible cheese. So pecorino cheese is made in Pienza, produced in Pienza, and it's amazing. So around that area, of course, the movie Gladiator was shot. Lots of scenes from the Gladiator were shot there, and we will see, if you like, also some places where actually you will see the house of the Gladiator, which is right 2 miles from where our hotel, and other little places that you will recognize in the movie. Okay, let's go on to the day 8. Bagno Vignoni. I'm sorry to say it's always the same thing. It's another amazing place. Bagno Vignoni, it's incredible because Bagno Vignoni is considered a town. It's made of probably 10 houses and 3 or 4 hotels. Very expensive, okay? The water you see in front in the middle picture of the slide, it's a pool. It's a pool now. It was a pool 2,000 years ago at the time of Romans. So around this pool now they build some houses and there are restaurants, and it's incredible. It's just a Roman pool with some houses and restaurants around it. On the first picture, you see kind of a pool, but where there are people inside, you see, and with a beautiful view of the plain below. So we can spend a day there, half day there, a couple of hours, say, if you like. And this is a very luxury hotel, and which opens the pool to visitors, and you can spend there an incredible couple of hours. The pool is very hot, so very hot water. All for all year, same temperature. It's about 90 degrees, something like even more, 100 degrees, something like that. And the water flows continuously. So it enters in the west, on the west, on the left side of the pool, and goes out on the other side of the pool. So it's continuously change. The water is continuously change. And imagine stay there and enjoy the pool and have the beautiful view of the plain that you see on the picture, and the fortress on the far on the backdrop. So it would be an amazing experience. Bagno Vignoni is absolutely an amazing town, a little place that you cannot miss. Okay, let's go to now day 9. Orvieto and Cile Bagnoregio. We actually change region because Orvieto and Cile Bagnoregio are in Umbria, let's say, so slightly at the border with Tuscany. Orvieto, it's another incredible place. One of the most impressive cathedrals in the world that you see on the left picture. It's built on a rock. So it's built on a rock. It was built by the Etruscans. So before Romans, we are talking about 2,500 years down. So it's incredible. There, what we're gonna do there? We're gonna visit, if you want, the cathedral. But we're gonna walk around the little town, and we are going to enter a place, a private place, which is now a restaurant. It's a privately owned. It's a little restaurant, and under the restaurant, underground, there are the tunnels which were used by the Etruscans to store wheat, oil, wine. So we will walk in these tunnels, which were built and carved by the Etruscans. So we are going back far ahead of the Romans, so more than 2,000 years ago. So it is an incredible experience. You will see this is a unique place, absolutely a unique place. But even more unique is the other place that we're going to visit, which actually is the center picture of the slide, which is Civita di Bagnoregio. Civita di Bagnoregio is a little town with about 14 people, 14 inhabitants. So residents have fled Civita di Bagnoregio, and they fled because of earthquakes, and because this little town is actually located on top of a hill, on top of a rock more than a hill. And it's connected with other places only through a bridge, a pedestrian bridge. So in Civita di Bagnoregio, you don't have bicycles, you don't have cars, you just have people walking. And the bridge is very steep. So it's another unique place that we're going to visit during our tour, and you will enjoy immensely, I'm sure. Let's go to the day 10. We go to Rome, we arrive in Rome, and we go into the classic style. This is our hotel, which is centrally located in the shopping street of one of the shopping streets of Rome, not far from the main monuments. You can easily even walk to Trevi Fountains, probably 20 minutes walk to Trevi Fountains. So it's It's centrally located, and it's an hotel which has a classic style, as you can see. So it would be a nice stop in Rome for 2 nights. Okay, and then in Rome, of course, we're going to visit the Vatican museums, which is a must. Of course, the Sistine Chapel will be included in the visit, as well as the interior of the St. Peter's Basilica. We have, of course, always skip the line tours for the Vatican museums, and you will be led by a professional tour guide, which will explain to you all the highlights of these incredible museums. And not only that, because after that we are going to have a panoramic tour with our drivers and your tour guide of the main spots of the Eternal City, of course. How not to see the Spanish Steps, the Trevi Fountains, and Navona Square, the Pantheon, and much more. But we have to be ready for the farewell dinner with music and show. The farewell dinner is a very, very nice, because the group will be together, all the people of the group, and you will listen to some classical Italian music. Food is very good, and you will enjoy. And I hope that you will get the feeling to come back to Italy in the next trip and enjoy more places to see again in the next trip. Okay. In fact, after that, the day after, you will have the transfer to the airport and your journey back to your beautiful country, which I like very much. Okay. And that's the presentation of the tour. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you will not get bored, because of course, it's much better to visit than to hear my explanations, but I'm waiting for you in Italy, and I will be with you during this tour. So thank you.